So hey guys, this is MC Darvel, aka Zach, and welcome to my first video. Start off, we're going to be drawing the Mandalorian today. I'm doing this as a special request for a friend who's a big fan of Star Wars and the Mandalorian in particular. I must confess, I still haven't seen any of the episodes on Disney Plus. Way behind on that. I just have a very busy life, and plus I'm married and I have a toddler, and my wife doesn't really go for the Star Wars thing, which is for me a bit of a struggle because I have to find time to watch the Star Wars releases by myself, but it's always a treat when I do find the time. So anyway, my friend told me that her son really likes Star Wars, of course, but also guns, which what little boy doesn't like guns? And I decided that I would do this first digitally, because I'm more comfortable digitally, because I like to move things around and crop and rotate or rescale or even warp or skew, and I'm using here Sketchbook Pro, which is a great tool for people into illustration. I don't really know how it compares for other types of art, such as painting, to things like Photoshop or Krita or Procreate. I feel like it probably doesn't do as well in those categories, but when I compare it to Photoshop for illustration, I just find that Sketchbook Pro is set up a little bit more to my liking. So about the drawing, I decided that I wanted to incorporate some perspective, which is why you saw me drawing the perspective lines, 1-point perspective lines in the beginning. As you'll see, I kind of don't really live up to the goal of perspective in the beginning, and that's why you'll notice I'm doing a lot of, noodling of the drawing, a lot of moving things around, because in this beginning phase of the drawing, I was really frustrated with the lack of a few things. For one, I made the mistake of not starting how I like to start, which is I like to have, like a line, like either a diagonal line or a curve or like an S shape, which defines the movement of the pose or the action. And here I don't really see that movement anywhere, and in fact there are a couple of things that kind of interrupt a natural flow to the drawing in this picture. I think the biggest culprit there are the legs, and you see me messing around with the legs a bit here to kind of mitigate that mistake that I made in the very beginning of not making that action line, trying to bring it in, maybe give it more of a diagonal from top left to bottom right type of movement. I mean, I could have stopped, and I considered stopping at this point, or very close to this point. And you'll see there, I even tried a different pose entirely, but decided I was going to try instead to salvage this drawing, because I saw that the concept was interesting. Him using, I'm fascinated with this rifle that he has, and I must confess I don't know that much about the Mandalorian. At the risk of offending the Star Wars fans out there, I kind of found his character to be a little wanting, I guess, from the original Star Wars movies. It didn't speak to me really as much as it seemed to speak to, a wider audience, I guess. I think Luke, spoiler alert here, but Luke just defeated him way too easily. Which, I mean, makes sense, Luke's a highly trained Jedi at that point. But I just felt like he went down way too easily. I wish he would have put up a little bit more of a fight. So that's kind of... And I haven't seen the original Star Wars. Well, I watched A New Hope recently, but I haven't seen Empire or Return of the Jedi for a while. So I couldn't even tell you which movie that is where he gets eaten by that sand monster. It's probably Empire Strikes Back, but sorry. I'm going to stop before I piss off everybody. Anyway, what was I even talking about? I'm just trying to make excuses. So anyway, back to the drawing. I'm fascinated with this rifle that he has. I think it's very, very cool. It's a really neat design. Oh, let me talk about what I did here. So what I like to do is work on these drawings at night, and then save the image, and then if I'm not satisfied with it while I'm at work and I have a little bit of free time, I'll take a look at the picture and just think hard and deep about what is bothering me about the picture. And you saw earlier I kind of redrew the perspective of that leg that he's balancing his arm on, or that it kind of looks like he's balancing his trigger arm on. And I was satisfied with that, so I felt like I more or less fixed the issues with the leg. And by the way, so now there's more of a curve going from maybe the top middle third down to the bottom right corner. So an action curve, that is. But while I was at work, I realized that another thing that was bothering me is that the gun was just not foreshortened enough. It wasn't, pointing at, I guess, the viewer enough. And I think of, that's, for me, a little bit of a difficult thing to accomplish, foreshortening. And, if you get a chance, go look at this picture. There's this picture by Rembrandt, where it's just a bunch of doctors doing an autopsy on somebody, and this person on the autopsy table, their arm is foreshortened, kind of going into a little bit into the plane of the screen, or of the painting, I guess. And it always looked both strange to me because it looks so, I guess, short, too short to be natural. But at the same time, I knew it was right. So that's a weird thing. If you look at this rifle here, and you compare it to, say, what it looks like if you look at it side on, it's so much longer than it actually appears here. But I took that lesson from that Rembrandt painting, and just it gave me the confidence to make it look shorter than I guess what appears natural. All right, so I'm getting close to the final drawing. I'm here working on the hands. I like to work on the hands last, and one of these days, if this channel picks up, I'll do some hand drawing videos, and it's just going to be super funny because I am so just not good at hands. It takes me forever, but I always do them last, and I try to make sure that I I do them right, because that can make or break a picture. Of course, the face fits that category too, as do, I believe, the feet. Those are kind of I don't know. I wouldn't say face is difficult to draw. For me, I've been drawing faces since I was, in middle school, and I just did that for fun. So I did a lot of faces. But I'm working on now a couple themes in my drawings, which are foreshortening, perspective, and especially how a character or a figure or some animate object interacts with its environment. And what really inspired me to do that was Katsuhiro Otomo, the creator and artist behind Akira, which I think is, in my opinion, if not the greatest comic book of all time, it's certainly one of the greatest comic books of all time, especially from an art perspective. I mean, not to downplay the story at all, which is amazing, but the art is on a level that, I mean, just so few people will ever achieve. So, yeah, I'm heavily inspired by Katsuhiro Otomo, and I hope to talk a bit more about why, and it's, again, really how the figure interacts with the environment. And a lot of that is paying attention to perspective and foreshortening, as I'm, hammering in here. But I do hope to talk a little bit more about and show you some more illustrations where I do practice that, practice environment drawing and character and environment drawing. So here I'm like, I might be done. But I thought I'd play around to see if I could put any solid blacks in there and make it look good. I normally do more of like a very solid fat line type of drawing. I don't know. I think it's because I'm lazy, really, is why I don't enjoy doing rendering. I sometimes enjoy watercoloring my pictures, and I will do some of that at some point. But, doing the rendering with the hatching and all that stuff is just, to me, it's not that fun. And so I've kind of developed a style where I don't have to do that. And it's not my style. I sort of stole this style from the Lean Claire style, which is, I guess, developed in France first by Herg, or Herge, I don't know how you pronounce it, but, the creator and artist behind Tintin. And so, here it is. That's me holding the final illustration, which I framed. And, hopefully, they like it. So, that's it for my first video. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and hopefully I'll have another video very soon. Alright guys, this is MC Darvel signing out. Later.